This chart shows the all-time win totals across NASCAR's 3 national series. Look at this gap. That towering bar is Kyle Busch, with 234 career victories. It is a mathematical anomaly, a towering, undisputed record that puts him in a class entirely of his own, which is why the racing world completely stopped in May 2026. At just 41 years old, Busch was hospitalized with a sudden, severe illness. Days later, he was gone. He had literally just won a Truck Series race at Dover Motor Speedway the week prior. The immediate outpouring of grief from the motorsports community was overwhelming. Drivers, owners, and fans universally mourned the loss. But if you rewind the clock, that affection is a sharp contrast to how his career began. Early on, Kyle Busch was the driver audiences loved to hate. He was a 16-year-old prodigy out of Las Vegas who had managed to land a top-tier ride in the Truck Series. But his momentum hit a wall when NASCAR forced him off the track. Because Winston Cigarettes sponsored the series, the tobacco age limit meant Busch was legally barred from competing. He spent the next 2 years sidelined, watching from the pits while his peers took the green flag. When he finally returned to full-time competition at 18, he drove with a visible desperation, taking high-risk lines and forcing aggressive passes that suggested he was trying to claw back every lap he had lost. In 2004, he arrived full-time in the Cup Series with Hendrick Motorsports. His older brother Kurt was already a star in the garage, and Kyle was desperate to carve out his own identity and step completely out of that shadow. He didn't ask for respect on the track, he took it. He shoved veterans out of the groove, pushed his equipment to the absolute breaking point, and stacked up early wins alongside intense, high-profile feuds. The garage quickly gave him a nickname that stuck, Rowdy. Fans in the grandstands would shower him with booze. Instead of apologizing, Busch leaned into it. After a victory, he would climb out of the car, face the screaming crowd, and deliver a slow, theatrical bow. It was a deliberate, mocking taunt. He willingly alienated traditional purists, but he produced results. Busch proved very early on that he did not care about winning popularity contests. He only cared about winning races, and he was undeniably excellent at it. In 2008, he signed with Joe Gibbs Racing, triggering a 15-year run at the front of the pack. Over that stretch, Busch drove the iconic yellow M&M's car to 56 Cup Series victories, more than any other driver during that period. Looking at these trend lines, his dominance wasn't contained to Sunday afternoons. He routinely raced in lower divisions on Fridays and Saturdays, simultaneously capturing all-time win records in the Truck and O'Reilly series while maintaining his grip on the Cup Series. But that impenetrable armor cracked in 2015. During a race at Daytona International Speedway, his car violently left the track and slammed head-on into an unprotected concrete wall. The impact shattered his right leg and left ankle. The sheer violence of the crash instantly shifted his reality. He went from fighting to rewrite the NASCAR record books to fighting a grueling, agonizing battle just to walk again and survive in the sport he loved. He spent months in intensive physical rehabilitation, forcing himself through the pain of recovery while missing 11 critical races of the 2015 season. He managed a miraculous return to the driver's seat mid-season. Defying basic medical expectations, he rattled off a string of victories that culminated in him hoisting the massive 2015 Cup Series championship trophy. 4 years later, he won his second Cup title. This put him in a bracket of success reached by very few, joining an elite group of multi-time champions who define their respective eras. But his evolution was happening away from the steering wheel too. He founded Kyle Busch Motorsports, building a team specifically designed to fund and mentor young, aspiring racers trying to break into the industry. Simultaneously, he and his wife Samantha made the deeply personal decision to go public with their painful struggles with infertility. They launched the Bundle of Joy Fund, offering significant financial grants to help other families afford the high costs of in vitro fertilization treatments. The public watched the ruthless, antagonistic Rowdy become an open, vulnerable father and a dedicated teacher. He was systematically dismantling his own villain persona, revealing a complex man deeply devoted to his family and the future of his sport. His 2023 move to Richard Childress Racing represented a shift in his role. He was no longer the young disruptor. He was now the senior presence in the garage, tasked with helping a legendary organization find its way back to the front. He found immense joy racing tiny micro-sprints on local dirt tracks, lining up directly against his 11-year-old son, Brexton. Yet the competitive fire never actually dimmed. He pushed his equipment just as hard as he did at 16, fighting for every inch of asphalt. He proved it by securing his final Truck Series victory at Dover Motor Speedway just days before his death. His tenure at RCR proved he could grow into a foundational mentor and a guiding father, without sacrificing a single ounce of the relentless, punishing drive that defined his youth. Then came the abrupt halt in May 2026. A sudden, fatal illness claimed his life at 41, ripping a massive, immediate void through the entire racing community. The men who used to trade paint and throw punches with him were suddenly left heartbroken. Rival champions expressed profound grief, emphasizing that the intense battles they fought were rooted in deep, mutual respect. He was a driver who left absolutely nothing on the table. Every single lap he drove was an exercise in giving everything he had, physically and emotionally, to the pursuit of speed. The history books will always point to his staggering 234 victories, but his true legacy is the human evolution behind the wheel, the journey from NASCAR's most polarizing antagonist to a universally beloved champion.